sewer?
What's that?
Oh, that was in sewer, right?
Yeah, we have one.
Terry, have you started your countdown?
Right here, 402.
Yep, 402.
Okay.
Oh. Oh, it's only the 20th?
Don't get me started. Every time we pick up somebody with a DUI, every time we pick up somebody and move them there, we get charged.
What?
That's a lot. I mean, I haven't seen that much in a while.
Oh, I've been at
We've been going round
the
and round with that.
high school football games watching. I've been
Court fees when they don't have a attorney.
Okay. I guess in my head I didn't also compute that we have to pay if we put somebody in.
Okay, you ready? It's 6 o'clock.
Yep.
Good evening. Now the time is now 6 p.m. I welcome you to our city council meeting for Monday, October 20th, 2025. For all of you that are able to, please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Amanda, do you want to take roll call, please?
Councilmember Friend?
Here.
Councilmember Houston?
Here.
Councilmember Freimark?
Here.
Councilmember Rounds?
Here.
Councilmember Dowdy?
here.
Councilmember Hall?
Here.
Councilmember Burke called out this evening.
Motion to excuse Councilmember Burke.
Second.
I have a first and a second to excuse Mr. Burke. Ms. Hogan.
Councilmember Friend?
Aye.
Councilmember Houston?
Aye.
Councilmember Freimark? Councilmember Rounds?
Aye.
Councilmember Dowdy?
Aye.
Councilmember Hall?
Aye.
All right, the time is now 6:01 p.m. and we will be entering into executive session for RCW 42.30.1101I. Discuss with legal counsel about potential litigation regarding overtime rates. We will return back to our city council meeting at 6:45. So at this time, we will enter executive session. time is now 6:43 p.m. We have ended our executive session. We will take a break and regular council meeting will start at 7 p.m. let me turn my mic on. Council, if you'll make sure your mics are on. Let me get this recording.
Recording in progress.
All right. Like I said, it's now 7 o'clock, back into our regular schedule meeting. So the next item is citizens' communication for items not on the agenda. The next one, Ms. Woodard, come on up.
I wanted to
Use the mic, come on. Loud and proud, my friend.
Goodness. I wanted to introduce myself. My name is Marie Woodage, and I am actually running for Woodland School Board, District 3. And I would like your vote. I'm very passionate about our youth of today. My children went to the Woodland schools, and I see a lot of academic, shall I say, non-excellence. So I would be for academics, and I'm really passionate about parental rights. So I will be at the chamber luncheon tomorrow. But again, I wanted to introduce myself, and I would encourage you to vote for me, if you will.
Let me start by saying thank you for coming.
Okay.
And introducing yourself here. I've obviously known you for the 30 years I've been here.
Right.
But good luck with that. I really do value you coming here and talking about it. Anybody want to speak?
Okay.
Obviously, we can't talk about who we're voting for and everything like
Right,
that. But
right,
again,
right, right. But
just make
like I
sure.
said, I just wanted to introduce myself. And,
Priority, make sure you vote.
Okay, yeah, please vote. Thank you. Right.
Keith, Planners Days.
Good evening, thank you. Planners Days, we plan it all year round, and we're getting back in the swing of things. This year's event is June 18th through the 21st, and tomorrow we'll have our regular meeting, and we'll work on getting some of the details started for this next year. Currently, we are having the theme contest, and so if you'd like to enter the theme contest, you can email me or come and see me or go online to the Planners Days website and click on the link there. And as soon as we have the theme determined, that contest will end November 15th. As soon as we've finished that contest, we'll do the art contest for the kids. And I think we're going to change it up a little bit and include the older kids in it this year. We had some ideas for that. Beyond that, we'll start to looking for some princesses and roll on with the rest of the show.
Excellent. Meetings going on or starting yet, or
Meetings go on all year.
what day of the week?
Third Tuesday of the month, 6 p.m. VFW.
Thursday, third
Tuesday.
of every month. Yep.
Third Tuesday of every month, 6 p.m. at the VFW.
Perfect. All right, any questions for Keith? Hey, thank you for all your hard work towards
Thank you.
Planners Days. That is all I had on signed up. Is there anyone online or in the room that would like to address council? Now is the time for items not on the agenda. I'd love for community members to have their 2 bits as we're all living in this community together. Having seen no one, we will move into agenda approval.
Make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second?
I have a first with Ms. Rounds and a second with Ms. Dowdy. Any questions or comments from council or anyone in the room about the agenda? Ms. Hogan.
Councilmember Rounds,
Aye.
Councilmember Dowdy,
Aye.
Councilmember Hall,
Aye.
Councilmember Frymark,
Aye.
Councilmember Houston,
Aye.
Councilmember Friend.
Aye.
Moving into public hearing, so the time is now 7:04. We'll move into a public hearing on the comprehensive plan. So this is an extension of what we talked about at the last meeting. And we have posted in the paper for tonight, in the next 2 weeks, or the next council meeting and in the following council meeting, is that we would have our first, second, and final reading on these. And so again, Travis, any changes from the comprehensive plan that we have had?
Are you having any meetings out in the public at all?
Not right now, not since the planning commission had the meeting last month.
Okay.
So we had him out in the community. He was at Planners Days even. He's been at different events, working on Saturdays and Sundays in the community, having little booths, trying to get people even, trying different ideas. Planning Commission had this at their last meeting, last week. I think it was on the 16th, 17th, 16th. And so they had no changes for that, and here it is now at the council for a public hearing. If anyone has any questions, comments, or adaption or anything that they would like to make. I don't see anyone online. Anyone in the community? All right. The time is now 7:06, and we will leave the public hearing, and we'll go into reports of standing committees. HR was canceled and finance were canceled, but public safety held their meeting tonight. Is that you, Ms. Dowdy?
Yes. All right, tonight we met at 5:27. In attendance was Chief, Councilmember Friend, Councilmember Houston, and myself. Basically, all we talked about was some old business. Roberto Canetta taking over at the schools now, and that's going really well. Lots of positive feedback from parents and community. I even had the privilege of seeing him participate at the high school in the lip sync contest with the staff on Friday, so that was pretty fun to watch him arrest the eagle from the other team, so that was cool. And then we had a recruit in the academy, and he did not make it through the academy, so we no longer have that as one of our positions. So we have 2 openings currently. And we have an oral board this Wednesday for 3 possible laterals that we'll be looking at. And we adjourned at 5:55.
Yeah. I want to touch on the individual with the academy. Good individual. Again, we're looking for people that shine, make it through the academy, and do well there. There's testing requirements that are done there, and you can repeat your test and various different things on that. And then once they leave the academy and they come to the guild, they then are part of the guild and have a bargaining with them. And so with the things and conversations that Chief had with the academy, and then conversations with myself, the decision was made that, hey, let's try and find a different officer. So again, I just want to say kudos to Chief looking out and making the decisions of the long-term viability of our city. Okay? Any questions on that report out? Okay, next item, reports to City Council. Ms. Rounds.
I had the opportunity to go to the football game Friday night. We won, of course, but I saw the officer walking around, so that was nice too. And my daughter works at the school, and she said she's met with him, and she's impressed, really impressed with him. So also we went to the Gold Leaf event for the Rotary for the Scott Hill Park, and that was on Saturday evening, and that was a pretty good hit, and we made about $29,000 from that. So
Excellent. On the officer piece, I would just throw out there with Canetta, the good thing about this and the way that the chief, went about this, it was one of those where it was posted, there was somebody within the guild that wanted it. He has a passion for, the schools and the community. It's great to see somebody such as him that's there and is really enjoying it. Because I agree. Every time I've been down there, he's having a good time, and the kids are, interacting with him and part of the school. So, okay, Ms. Dowdy.
The schools are going to be putting on The Lion King Jr., and tonight was their first meeting with students and parents for anyone interested. So if you know any students that are in the Woodland School District that are interested in the performing arts, they could check that out.
Excellent.
So that's going to be awesome.
This, I also got to go to the Gold Leaf dinner for Rotary. And by the way, Commissioner Rader is here this evening, and he was our speaker for kind of the inspirational leadoff, which was very good, and I thought set the tone for a great meeting. And again, it was successful, so appreciated that. At some point, that park's going to open in the spring, and I wish the city of Woodland had some part in it. I think it would be really good for us to be part of that. So somehow, I don't know what we do, but
So, speaking of the gold leaf, did the dog get auctioned off?
Yes, it is.
yes.
There was a
Saint
large
Bernard.
Yeah, there was a large dog, Saint Bernard, but I thought it had a mix or something. But anyway,
No, it's purebred.
Oh, it's purebred?
Saint Bernard.
Oh my goodness.
so yeah, so that was my question if it got auctioned off. So good for them. Any other items from council?
This Friday night is youth night at the football game at the high school, so they recognize the youth football league, youth cheerleaders, give the youth cheerleaders an opportunity to go out and perform, and then recognize the football team. So if you can make it out to support all the youth in the community, that's great.
Excellent. So Friday night lights again, people. Anything else from council? All right, reports of advisory committees. Chamber. Keith, come on up, sir.
Thank you. Keith Blau, Woodland Chamber Executive Director. Chamber of Commerce new memberships are 50% off for the remainder of the year. For those interested, it's always a great time to join. Next luncheon is tomorrow, October 21st at the Oak Tree Restaurant. We begin at noon. Luncheons have been weekly in September and October, and they will only have them 2 times in November. Everybody's welcome to attend. Upcoming speakers are the city council candidates and school board candidates. And then in November, we'll have our annual meeting, and Representative Peter Abarno will be there. Chamber after hours events, October 23rd at the VFW from 5 to 7. We'll have snacks and music. The public is welcome. Woodland Chamber annual meeting, November 4th. We'll do our elections and review our bylaws. Chamber holiday bingo event will be December 3rd at the Woodland VFW, and tickets will be available. Tickets are available now. You can find the link online and in the email blast, or come and see me and I'll get you signed up. The link to nominate Woodland's Best Of is available and is included in the email blast, and also is available on the Chamber website. That's for Woodland's Citizen of the Year, Employee of the Year, and Employer of the Year, or Business of the Year. Woodland Chamber Coffee Crew will happen on November 5th at Red Leaf on Dyke Road from 8 to 10 a.m. Make a Difference Day on October 23rd.
25th.
Oh, 25th, thank you. And that's on the city website as well. Okay, Visitor Center. For September, we had 115 walk-ins, 10 phone calls, 448 cumulative cars in the park and ride. Visitors for September were from Arkansas, New Jersey, Arizona, Florida, Texas, Alaska, Nevada, California, Ohio, New York, Indiana, Oregon, and Colorado. We're working on a new area dining and lodging flyer for people. The chamber had done one years ago, and we found it and thought, oh, it's a good idea. So we are working on a new one. So that's nice. Destinations. Johnson Ridge Observatory remains closed. Forest and Learning Center and Science Center are also closed for the season and due to the shutdown. The Interpretive Center at Silver Lake remains open. Forest Roads 99 and 25 were recently reopened, but due to seasonal conditions, may not be passable for long. We still have Forest Passes and Discover Passes. Some pricing has changed. Still closed on Tuesdays, open 10 to 2 Sunday, 10 to 4 otherwise. And people are using the bus there that connects to Longview and to Vancouver. If people need to get a ride there, it's affordable and it's available. It might not be totally convenient for everybody, but it's there. So Questions?
How much are the bingo cards?
The bingo tickets are 35. You get 20 bingo cards, a dauber, and dinner.
So you get how many?
20 bingo cards.
20 bingo cards?
Yeah, and you can play one during your game, or you can play 20 or whatever. So, and there will be extra ones available as well, and raffles.
What day is that?
That is December 3rd. Got a lot of dates on here. That's a Wednesday, by the way. All right, thank you.
Thank you, sir. On the, I guess I should, so on the bus deal, just so people are aware, they've reached out to Riley, the Public Works Department. They're looking at getting a bigger bus, a 36-foot bus, a little bit more transportation options there, I guess you would say. So they might need an alternative stop. So more to come on that, but I just wanted people aware that they are looking to make it a larger bus here short term. All right. So thank you on that, Keith. Downtown revitalization. Adonica, come on up.
Good evening, everybody. Donica with Downtown Woodland Revitalization. We've got a couple of things going on. Gearing up for the trick-or-treat event downtown on the 31st from 2 to 4. We've also been working on decorating the lobby of 100 Davidson. So it happens to be, as we all know, limited use, and oftentimes it doesn't look very occupied as you come around the corner. And since that's what our goal is to make it look more inviting and active, we were given permission to decorate the lobby. And so we're actually having a lot of fun, and it's really coming along cool. And we'll be able to do that throughout the holiday season, and be able to promote, just different activities that are going on in the area. So our goal is to show our other empty buildings what we can do, so that even if it's not rentable for some reason, or it's in a situation where no one's interested in renting it to anybody, maybe in talking to them and showing them these types of examples, that they'll let us go ahead and decorate and bring a much needed uplift feeling as you go downtown. So we're actively working on that, and looking forward to, of course, all the trick-or-treaters. That's also when we get a chance to hand deliver important information about Winterfest, because we're obviously reaching all our local families. We put it out through our schools, and working to get it through the utility bills. So our Winterfest is the largest event in the winter months, and that is December 6th. We've expanded the hours, and this year it'll be from 1 to 7. And so that includes a lot of events within the event. We're bringing back some old-fashioned fun to draw people down there throughout the day, instead of it just being an evening event. And therefore we can have foot traffic and encourage folks to enjoy all of our town, as well as go on down to the Hulda Klager event that they've got going on, because that's going to be beautifully decorated too. So really drawing people down there and having people walk all the way down through is our goal. And Winterfest is just going to be fabulous, and so will be the trick-or-treating. So that's what we're working on right now. Of course, there's plenty more coming. Any
Excellent.
questions?
Questions from anyone?
Okay.
Comments? Thank you very much for
Thank
the
you.
report out. All right, moving into reports of city mayor. Couple things here. So Make a Difference, like he said, is October 25th. If you're looking to volunteer, we would love you to reach out to us. Kathy in the Public Works Office, 225-7999, is looking for people to sign up for volunteer. We do have a longer list than normal of houses and yards and individuals in the community. like Adonica said, trick or treat in the streets is next Friday, the 31st. It's 2 to 4. School's out early. There's a high school game in Ridgefield that night. So again, it's working with everybody to make it work. Then the 3rd of November, and then is City Council meeting, and then Veterans Day is on the 11th of November, and city offices will be closed. Okay, next item, impact fees. So these are impact fees. They're not impact fees that we are going to keep here inside the city of Woodland, but I wanted people to be aware of some changes that are here. So the school, Asha was here, 2 or 3 months ago and talked about things. Travis has worked diligently with the school and updating. So I just want people to be aware that the impact fees being collected per residential are going up. So currently a single family residential is $5,900 starting in January 1st. It'll go up to $10,500. So about a $4,600 increase. Accessory dwellings, ADUs, currently are $2,000. Will go up to $5,200. And then multifamily residential will go from $5,900 up to $13,600. So $7,700 increase there. Those increases are dollars that we will collect and 100% pass directly over to the schools that they can use for construction projects and things like that. So I wanted people to be aware of that as Travis has been working on those.
So when our taxes go up,
So hold on a second, hold on. These don't impact your taxes, these
Okay.
are impact fees.
Okay.
So as new development happens in the
Okay,
city,
gotcha.
somebody builds a new
Gotcha.
home,
Okay.
builds, apartment complex, that is what you would call a latecomers fee. We are paying for the school, but then all of a sudden a new building comes in, we need them to also help pay for that school that we have there
Okay.
and additional, so that's why we charge impact fees. Okay?
Is it just the schools? that
Yeah,
are
it's just the
changing?
schools, and there's a little bit of change to the fire impact fees, but
now,
school impact fees.
who adopted those?
So they are coming to the school board. The school board will have those at their next school board meeting next month. Is that when they will adopt them?
Actually, the school has already adopted their capital facilities plan, and the resolution will be attached for the planning commission and for your review when the code changes come up. But I believe the school district did theirs in August.
Okay. So that'll be going to the planning commission. Again, just so people understand that we are assessing those costs. Couple other items that we'll see later tonight, so I will pass until our other items here. Any questions of me or any items? Okay, moving into consent items.
Make a motion to approve consent item C.
Second.
I have a first from Ms. Rounds and a second from Mr. Frymark regarding the minutes from our October 6th meeting. Any comments or questions from anyone online, community, or council? Ms. Hogan.
Councilmember Friend,
Aye.
Councilmember Houston,
Aye.
Councilmember Frymark,
Aye.
Councilmember Hall,
Aye.
Councilmember Dowdy,
Aye.
Councilmember Rounds.
Aye.
Okay, moving into action items. Action item D, approve vouchers for October 2025, first half.
Make a motion to approve action item D.
Second.
I have a first and a second. Anyone from the community or online or from council have questions? I will throw out that the court fees were higher than normal this month. Ms. Rounds brought that up to us. Again, those court fees are when individuals don't have a attorney, and also the cost of using the courts that are up there. That is our responsibility if they are booked and charged here in the city of Woodland.
I was just curious, when you it's on account number, if you go to click on it, it doesn't show anything. I don't know if that's for everyone, if it's just not working for me.
It's not working for me.
It's for everyone. It's a hyperlink if you have a login for the system. So it's just for
So-
reporting purposes. It doesn't do
Need a
anything.
login.
So you need to log in to see what it's for, because it doesn't say it just says utilities.
That's because that's the name of the code. So the hyperlink is the barcode
Yeah.
that it was coded to, but all the information on what it's for, like the vendor, the short description, the dollar amounts is all there.
Yeah, it just doesn't say where to would be helpful.
Where to for what?
Like what it's for. It says utilities $8,000. Like what is that?
Who's the vendor?
City of Woodland.
Right,
That's
so
for the City of
that's
Woodland utility
I
bills.
understand that.
paying
but
for
it-
water and sewer.
For all of our buildings. So you would need to actually pull the backup that Ms. Rounds currently has in front of her.
So we pay for water and sewer.
I understand we do that, but it doesn't. I'm just saying it doesn't say what it's for. It just says it's just yeah, it's utilities.
Utilities.
Okay.
Okay, any questions, other questions or comments? I have a first and a second, Ms. Hogan?
Councilmember Rounds,
Aye.
Councilmember Dowdy,
Aye.
Councilmember Hall,
Aye.
Councilmember Frymark,
Aye.
Councilmember Houston,
Aye.
Councilmember Friend.
Aye.
Moving into action, item E, ordinance 1578 to update Woodland Municipal Code 7.04.070, insurance requirements on dangerous dogs. This is the second and final reading.
Motion to approve ordinance
Second.
number 1578.
I have a first and a second. Any questions or comments from the community? This is again to get us in compliance with state law, moving from $50,000 insurance to $250,000 insurance that people will have if they have a dangerous dog. With that, Ms. Hogan.
Councilmember Hall,
Aye.
Councilmember Frymark,
Aye.
Councilmember Dowdy,
Aye.
Councilmember Rounds,
Aye.
Councilmember Friend,
Aye.
Councilmember Houston.
Aye.
Moving into action, item F, authorize the mayor to sign an agreement with Cowles County District Court for the appointment of judges to the City of Woodland Municipal Court.
Make a motion to approve action item F.
Second.
I have a first and a second. Questions or comments from the community? Again, we don't have our court system here. We use the court systems of Cowles County. So we here authorize the appointment of those judges to represent or to use their courts for our criminal activity inside the city. Questions or comments on that action item from anyone? Ms. Hogan?
Councilmember Frymark,
Aye.
Councilmember Houston,
Aye.
Councilmember Hall,
Aye.
Councilmember Friend,
Aye.
Councilmember Dowdy,
Aye.
Councilmember Rounds.
Aye.
Moving into action item G, making a funding recommendation to the Lodging Tax Advisory Committee, LTAC, for downtown Woodland Revitalization and the Woodland Visitor Center.
I make a motion that I did not see a fee on there. Like, I'm actually making the recommendation of how much. Okay. So I make a recommendation that we allow 25,000 for each, the DWR and the Visitor Center is our recommendation.
So I have a motion that's sending it back to the LTAC committee with a $25,000 proposal for each DWR and the Visitor Center. So what has come out of this, that last meeting, we sent it back. We should have put in a recommendation for a dollar amount so that the LTAC committee says, okay, this is what council wants. So this action item here is drawing a recommendation up. So I have a first here from Ms. Dowdy that she would like it at $25,000 each.
I second this equal split of the funds between the two.
So I have a first and a second. So before we take votes and all that, is there community, go ahead.
So I do have a question before we vote on this. I know we discussed DWR getting together with the Visitor Center or Chamber or whoever to discuss and kind of mediate between yourselves. Did you guys ever do anything in the meantime in the last 2 weeks?
Turned over my information on how to reach me. I haven't heard from anybody, but I did, so we are continuing to work together as far as upcoming events.
Okay. Anything from the community online, anyone in the audience who would like to speak about this motion of $25,000 recommendation to the LTAC committee? Anyone from council have thoughts, concerns?
Well, I'm gonna vote no. That's my feeling.
Vote
So,
no is your.
yep,
Okay.
that's my feeling.
Yep.
Unless I can be convinced that, that sounds like a pretty low figure.
I just feel like we are giving a lot of money to one visitor center for basically a salary and not reciprocating enough heads and beds results. And I'd rather see it split evenly amongst two entities that could provide more heads and beds. And the one entity that is asking for the same amount does bring more advertising and events to our town to bring more heads and beds events, where the other is just directing people that come into their center. So I think to give it evenly and not allocate so much of our funds to one specific place and to split it amongst somebody that's also willing to give an effort to create more heads and beds in our community, I think it's fair to us split it down the middle and not deny them because we feel it's, I don't know. I think that's fair.
Ms.
Well,
Rice?
I'll make another comment too. I think if we lower any more on the visitor center, we're going to lose them. And I don't believe movies in the parks creates heads and beds, and I don't believe the Winterfest creates heads and beds either. So that's my feeling.
So when you say that they're gonna lose, so you're saying the visitor center, if they have.
Will go away.
Will go away, so. Okay.
Yep.
Use your mic there, sir.
I don't think it brings
Hold on
in
a
that
second,
many.
hold on, let Mr. Frank me out.
Yeah.
And I'll come to you again, same.
And I would tend to agree with Ms. Kerr.
Mr. Houston?
I don't think it brings a lot of people to stay in the town to begin with. So
When you say it,
the visitor center, I think splitting it evenly would be better use of the funds.
I would really like to see them work together to create a visitor center that would work well with the two entities together to make it.
That'd be ideal.
Yeah, I tend to think too with the visitor center. I do think people come in to be on their way to do an activity, but I don't know that there's any evidence that would support that the activities that take place at the visitor center also create heads and beds here locally in Woodland. I think a lot of the activities that we send them to do are outside of our town, and there's lodging in other areas. So it would be nice to be able to say with confidence that whatever action took place at the visitor center directly contributed to that. I don't think you could do that. I don't know that you could with DWR, but then I see two entities where I can't prove it one way or another with both, and they're both asking for the same amount, so it's hard to justify giving one more than another when you have two entities that support the community in activities to attract people here, which we hope creates heads and beds. If they're both asking for the same amount and we have a limited number of funds, it seems just to me to split it.
Mr. Hall, any comments?
Just that this has already been reviewed by the LTAC committee, and they made their recommendation. I tend to support them, and so I'm opposed to the sending this back.
We already voted last time to send it back,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
that's
So
off
it's
the table.
tomorrow night, the 22nd is the LTAC meeting at 5 o'clock.
Wednesday night.
Wednesday, you're right, sorry, the 22nd. Wednesday,
At
I was.
6 o'clock.
At 6 o'clock, sorry, I was thinking tomorrow was Friday. So Wednesday night, 6 o'clock, back here, and I'll go to LTAC. Again, the committee will have the recommendations. Individuals, the DWR and Visitor Center will be able to have additional dialogue and conversation.
No, there is no dialogue.
There's no dialogue on the 22nd, so if you guys go back with 25,000 here, it's a done deal with the LTAC?
No, the LTAC meeting committee will have dialogue, but there is no more input from the community.
Oh, they won't get to present at all?
No,
Okay,
because they've already presented.
okay. So LTAC, the 5 members there.
we have somebody on
Yep,
that.
I got a couple people. So hold on a second, I got Donna and then I'll come to you. Come on up, Miss Butler.
Yeah, Donna Butler. So the Visitor Center and DWR are both wanting this money. And since this has come up, I've seen in both, they're stepping it up for our city. They both are trying to do better and earn these dollars. So I think competition is good. And I'd recommend this year to go ahead with the 25 each, and let's see what they do with it. Because next year it comes up again. And if one is shining out more, or if they work together, I mean, we just take a look at it then. But I just think it's a great opportunity for both.
Thank you. Brittany, come on up.
It's really not a big deal, but I thought you should know because it's pretty cool. Last year when you did Winterfest, my mom helped with the coffee and the cocoa and everything. And we had a house of 30 people come. And they rented rooms at Lewis River, so that was cool. And then Movies in the Park, our best friends, they have 3 grandkids, and they rented rooms 2 times this summer to come out for Movies in the Park. So I thought that was cool when I found out it was for getting people here. But we had lots of adults at our house for Winterfest, so I just thought I'd share that with you.
Thank you.
Just a point of clarity, because we said, hey, I would vote not to send it back. That's what
No,
I heard.
I meant that not to recommend a dollar
But
amount.
what
that's
we
a
need to
dollar amount.
leave with is a recommendation of an amount
Correct.
to go
And
We
that's
have
what I
a first
disagree
and a
with.
second, so we will vote here in about 2 seconds here on whether or not you want to send it back with a recommendation of $25,000 for each. If that fails, then we will have further dialogue and somebody else can make a different motion. But right now, that is what we have, and so we need to see that through. Keith, come on up, sir.
I just have a couple questions because I don't know if the city has ever worked with the visitor center in the past to develop any kind of marketing for the city? Or has the city ever been in charge of any marketing for the city? As far as that
don't
goes?
know of any there. I mean, our website is all done in-house. I mean, I'm not aware of
Carol
that
might
at all.
know. She's been around. Is anybody?
Not that I know, not that I'm aware of.
Right.
The chamber's always done it, or the information center.
Right. So yeah, I guess I'm just wondering if there's ever been any input this way towards visitor services and tourism services towards what could be done better. Because I hadn't heard anything in my short time here. I'm wondering what happened before I was here, kind of thing. So that's all. Just a question.
You said you had a couple, is that?
That was it.
Okay, I just want to make sure you got all your questions asked. Any other? Yeah, come on up.
DWR is actually not a new committee or a new. It's been around since 1980, and all that has really happened different is that we have some people that have stepped forward and are offering us some incredible services and talents that they have. And so in moving forward, we, of course, were not crazy and latched onto them and said, yeah, we'd love to work with you. And so we have this amazing team that has this incredible knowledge, and, you know, we want Woodland to benefit from it, okay? That's why we asked for more money. We want to be able to make as much money pay off for us. We don't want the visitor center to go away. We're not trying to squash anybody or change anything. All we want to do is make sure that what money is coming back into this community is being used to its fullest. And since I have all this talent sitting at my table, and they know how to raise the awareness of all of us, including our visitor center, like, seriously, there's all this talent that is, I feel like the visitor center serves an important service. And it's been doing it the same way for a really long time. But I think it needs a fresh facelift. I think that it needs new ideas. I think it needs to embrace what the internet does do for a very, very minimal fee. And I don't know what the story is behind it. I don't. And I'm not here to rip apart anybody or tell them they haven't done a good enough job. All I'm trying to do is step forward with help. Thank God I finally have help. The first year damn near killed me. I actually have help. And they're really good. And they have really great ideas. And I hear you guys wanting us to work together. I'm not saying we're opposed to working together. But one, we're not trying to take over the tourist center. We're not in the tourist business. We're in the marketing business. We're in the awareness business. We're in the how to bring everybody here and use everything we have at our disposal and celebrate our events and our amazing community. The tourist center has its own niche, and that's great. I'm glad they're raising the bar. It's time. They should invest in more of these things that they need to learn. They need to understand. What are other tourist centers doing? If you ask us today to take it over because we want more money, we're not going to stand here and say, oh, we're experts. We'll know how to do it immediately. We're going to get our butts online. We're going to start making phone calls to the local areas, and we're going to start asking for information on how do we pull this off? How do we do it? It's time to bring it up. It's time, and I know you want us to work together, but if we have two complete different approaches, and you know, if you're not going to give us all 50 grand then, and we're all going to just like take care of business and move forward, it won't do us any good.
I just have one other comment. I'm not opposed to downtown Woodland revitalization. I'm glad that
sure.
they're busy too. I used to sit on downtown revitalization for years
I'm
when I was
sure.
in banking, and their idea was to bring business to Woodland and fill the downtown area.
Yes.
It wasn't heads and beds. It was to try to get businesses.
This is a step.
And it never, ever, ever happened. I mean,
That's unfortunate. That's why
that
we
is
need
unfortunate
change.
because
That's
it's
why
been
we need
going
change.
for many, many years and nothing has been done.
It's so sad, and
Right.
that's why we're here to change that.
Right.
Exactly. But thank you.
Was there another comment?
Let's vote. Let's vote.
All right, any other comments from the community? Council? Ms. Hogan, so we are voting on a recommendation to send back, well, the action is to go back to LTAC with a recommendation of $25,000 for DWR and $25,000 for the visitor center. Ms. Hogan?
Councilmember Rounds,
No.
Councilmember Dowdy,
Aye.
Councilmember Hall,
No.
Councilmember Frymark,
No.
Councilmember Houston,
Aye.
Councilmember Friend.
Aye.
We have a tie. That falls on the mayor. So I'm going to go with what JJ would do. He was here. He would vote as a yes. I'm going to support a city council member and what their decision will be. Yay. Okay. Moving into, it is now 7:44. We will move into a workshop. The first item on the workshop, item H, 2025 year-to-date budget. So, can you pull that up for us, Amanda? So, going through, this is just a snapshot of where we're at year-to-date on different funds. Is that the second sheet? Can you go to the first sheet? There we go. So, nope. Up a little. Right there. Okay. So, high level, where are we at here? So, if we look at our expenditures, the general fund, we've got about $8.4 million full year budget. We've spent about $2.6 million. There is roughly $2.5 million there of transfers that need to be moved into other funds, but 9 months through the city, we are doing extremely well on our expenditures. General fund is the administrative costs. Everyone's sitting up here, all the individuals sitting over there, and those types of expenses. Moving straight down as you go through, you can see we're favorable on money in the park. Again, a little bit of transfers there. Moving to street, recording fees. So we have a full year budget of expenses of $10,800 or $10,080. Recording fees, that goes to the Woodland Action Center. So those are recording fees when people buy, sell homes here in Woodland. Whatever we collect, as long as they show receipts and invoices, we will pay them for that. We just paid them in October, roughly $6,000. So, and then you have the hotel. We had a full year budget of $70,000. We paid out $43,000. Again, DWR, the Visitor Center, the Lilac Gardens, Planters Days, as they turn receipts in, we reimburse them for those charges, and so $43,000. That will come in very close to the $70,000 at year end. Moving down, we have the long-term debt obligations for the police, fire, and the public works building. So you can see down there the $337,000 for the public works building versus the $32,000. That's because we sold the building and we made the decision to pay that building off. So we paid $337,000 where we would have been leasing it or paying rent on it for $32,000. We no longer have that debt obligation. Next page. Any questions on that? Next page of these expenditures. I throw out there the exit 21. We have a full year budget of $1 million. Cowlitz County, they reimburse us for actual dollars. So you'll see on our revenue side, the revenues are around that $250,000 as well. That's the grant that we are in the second year of. The railroad crossing project is done. You can see we've got Gun Club road sidewalks. We had to spend a little bit of dollars there, and then we've got the Pekin overlay. Moving down, next piece is you would see that the impact fees for the fire. We thought we would spend $173,000. We spent none. Notice that the park transportation on those impact fees, no expenditures this year, and no expenditures were budgeted. I want to be clear. Impact fees are a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity that we as a residents and community will have. We've got 300 homes going in there. We've bumped up the impact fees. We are collecting those. We are going to be very strategic and not just nilly-dilly here, nickel and dime, and put money away. We are going to do strategic projects and things that will improve our community. So you'll see that we have not spent any of those dollars there. Water is $4.2 million over budget. That is because we had the Reservoir 4 that we finished this project. We've got some reimbursement that comes in on that loan. So that is what's driving that increase. Sewer is extremely favorable to budget. That's the biosolids tank project we put in the budget. We're still in the engineering phase on that. So that's the reason we haven't spent all those dollars. Garbage collection is just a pass-through, and then custodial. So you can see our expenditures are reduced, and we maintained that. I see the four of them overlooking going, yeah, because he is cheap. Yes, I am. So any questions on the expenditure piece? Let's go over to the revenue side. So here are the revenues. General funds, you can see we've collected $6 million versus a budget of $8 million. Property taxes, 95% of the residents in our community pay the property taxes, half of it in April, half of it in October. So we will get a large chunk of change in November from Cowlitz County Tax Assessor and the Treasurer's Office for those property taxes. And then also sales tax is extremely good for us in the month of November with a Walmart store. Christmas shopping begins, so I don't see an issue there. And then when you'll see the revenues here, this is where I was talking about where we had additional transfers to come in. So you take it out of the general fund, and you transfer those from the general fund over into the park revenue and the street fund, because parks and street don't collect money here. The general fund pays those, and so we will transfer those in. And those are transfers about to happen. And then you can see the document recording fee year to date, those dollars that have come in. The hotel motel, we've received $43,000 from the various hotels inside the city limits. And then you can see the revenues for the police, fire, and the fire station and public works buildings. Those will be transfers in of $200,026. So that's why I say the expenses, when you net those all together, we have a couple $1 million more of expenses to add, but those transfers haven't taken place. Next slide. Here is these projects. So you can see exit 21, we've got a full year budget of $1 million revenue that we projected that we get from Cowlitz County. Again, we only get reimbursement for actual costs that we spent, and that is for Kittleson's. And then moving down, you can see the impact fees that we have collected. We expected to collect $139,000 in fire, $412,000 in park, and $500,000 in transportation. And we've collected $562,000 in fire, $341,000 in park, and $634,000 in transportation. Again, people say, oh, well, with that $600,000, can you fix our roads and do those things? Again, repairs are not something you can use with impact fees. Parks, same thing. We can't use that to repair parks, but we can certainly create different things at the parks. Water, we've only collected $2.8 million versus a budget of $5.7 million. The reserves, we've got $581,000 towards our reserves, and we've forecasted $453,000. Sewer, we've collected about $2.2 million versus $2.3 million full year, and then our reserves are a little bit lagging on sewer. Garbage collection, again, that's just dollar for dollar, $800,000 versus the budget. So when you get all the way down, you can see we're about $7 million short on revenues. When you do the transfers of the $2.5 million, that takes us closer to about $4 to $5 million short with the last quarter, 1/4 of the year left. So I think we're in good shape with our revenues and our expenses, maintaining and reducing our expenses so that we can increase reserves. And this is what we will be addressing when we get to our budget of how do we live within our means and have a balanced budget. Any questions from council or anyone in the community or online? Ms. Dowdy.
Dare I ask? So our water budget is significantly lower than we anticipated.
Correct.
So is that from just people not using it, or is that because we haven't, dare I say it, increased rates?
So it goes to, and you'll see in the workshop here, we have utility rate increase here. If you look at what we projected based off of rates, we knew that we were going to save, increase rates. The increase, delaying rates in 2024 for 2025 like we have is about $125,000 to $150,000 of it. It's not,
So not
a
a
major
significant,
portion.
okay.
But again, usage is down and various other items.
Okay.
Okay? Did you want to say something?
Yeah, I'd like to just add that those numbers are a little bit construed because of the Reservoir 4 project based on actual expenditured amounts. So for total for water sales, we were expecting about $2.7 million this year for fiscal budget. We're about 21% of that is remaining for the remainder of the year. Remaining to collect is about $573,000. So we are on target for revenues for this year.
Okay.
So that those numbers have a little bit of little odd to see those because of the Reservoir 4 project and the amount that we received back from drinking water state revolving fund loan. But at the end of the year, the final budget will show what we actually received for just water sales.
So we are a little closer to that then.
Yeah, we're,
okay.
like I said, we're only 21.14 away from our total budget that we
Okay. With a
were
quarter of the
expecting.
year left. Okay.
Yes,
Perfect.
correct. So we are right on track.
Okay.
Good point. I absolutely forgot, as we were talking about the Reservoir 4, I forgot on the revenue side.
Okay.
As we get our reimbursements from the loan on that, the revenues, we haven't received our payment from the loan yet. So, okay. Any questions or comments on that? with where we're headed in the direction that we're doing here in Woodland. Okay. More to come. Next council meeting, we will have conversation around those items in the budget. Next piece is the 1% property tax increase. State statute allows us to increase property taxes 1%. I want to have a conversation and remind people that just because your property taxes go up doesn't mean that the city has increased your taxes or the county or the state. So what drives that is assessment. So we collect in property taxes the same dollar amount. How that gets shifted, if my house goes up, $25,000 and another person's house goes up or goes down 25,000, I will pay incrementally more on my property taxes. And again, property taxes were huge this year because there is a school levy that we are paying for this year that we were not last year. So again, I want to take those school items out and just look at the serious line that says City of Woodland, those property taxes. We have kept those rates flat. We did not increase the 1% last year. I'm proposing again this year that we would forego the 1% increase and live within our means and not ask residents to pay more on their property taxes. So that will be coming to budget as part of that. Any conversation from council?
I agree. I can't see raising the 1%.
I agree.
All right. Let's go to the next one I'm going to go to is increase in utility rates. Near and dear. So this one here I struggle with. This last month we had roughly 10% of our community was past due on their water bill. Water, utility, when I say utility water, it's water, sewer, garbage. Garbage is a pass-through. 10% of our community was behind. I also want to remind people there is a robocall. So when you see online or people say, well, I was 3 months behind, never heard from the city, something that we implemented last year is a robocall. And it happens twice before there is a shutoff. It calls in to the cell phone or the home phone that is there, and it will leave the actual recording. It doesn't just hang up if nobody answers. And we'll tell them that, hey, X dollar amount needs to be paid by X date. And then there's a second one that happens. And I also want to remind people that the water bill is due every month on the 15th. That does not change at all. It's always due on the 15th. Okay. Utility increase piece here and why we're talking about this. So can you go to the next slide? So in 2020, there was an FCS study that was completed, presented to council, and they approved it on November 16th, 2020. And this FCS study talked about what our rates should be, what our reserves should be, and how we're going to get there, and how do we have dollars for the future, years to go. And if you need to do things such as the reservoir, if you need to do lift stations and things like that, how do you pay for it without going and constantly taking loans out for it? So November 2020, they approved an FCS study. And then in November of 2020, utility rate increases began, and they went through 2022 based on the FCS study. So November of 2020, then there was another additionals in 2021 and 2022. Then Council Order 2022-4, or in 2022, I'm sorry, there was 4 delayed increases that were scheduled for November 16th, 2022 that was supposed to be done until 2023 due to bi-monthly billing changes and transition to Minol utility. So council agreed to delay those increases. Then in November 2023, there was a utility increase that was approved by council for 5.5%, and then the mayor, prior to me, unilaterally eliminated it on his own. So that was eliminated, that 5.5%. In November of 2024, there was a scheduled utility increase that I brought to council. I recommended that we defer it and not implement it, and that was approved by city council. That was because we were able to collect $400,000 to $500,000 in past due accounts that had been sitting out there for 4 to 5 years. I will knock on wood. We've done a great job. The city employees have. There's, I believe, only 3 or 4 accounts that are on permanent lock-off, meaning they have not paid their past due accounts. The other people, when we do our lock-offs between 10 to 20 per month, they seem to come in that day or the next day and pay the hookup and their late fees and get us back online. We do have some late due accounts, but as long as you're paying a certain dollar amount, you are able to get water hooked back up. So that's where we got to today, October 20th, 2025. So where are we at going forward? So water and stormwater utility rates sit 5.5% above 2022 council approved increase structure. So if you look at what they were approved at in 2022, we're about 5%. However, water is about 12.5%, 12.25% behind that study of where they should be for 2023. And they're 27% if you look at where they should be for 2025. Stormwater sits 3.9% behind and 16 for 2023 and 16.8% behind for 2025. Okay? By increasing water and sewer utility rates to meet the 2023 FCS study, it would leave us 2 more years of structured increases per the study. Again, that study went out to 2025, and depending on what increase or what structure you put in, it would mean that there would be years left, a couple years left on the study. Sewer utility rates sit about 3.6% behind the 2025 study. And so you would have 1 more structured increase there. Okay, so again, thing to think about is 27% behind. Why do we need to increase utility rates? Kind of touched on this. An 11% increase we are seeing in labor, chemicals, and professional services. I think everybody knows that we have seen increased costs over the years. We were able to forego that by collecting past due. Again, we don't have past due. Absorbing an 11% increase for labor and professional services and chemicals is really tough in 2025 and 2026. Throw in capital improvement projects, 15% added to cost every year. Again, I think people are well aware of that. If I put a project today versus a project next year, obviously next year's project is going to be more expensive than today's. There's sanitary sewer collection systems that we need to upgrade, distribution systems, stormwater infiltration systems, etc. So again, you need to maintain your assets. It's no different than a car. I'm going to have ongoing asset maintenance there. And so what it is you're putting those costs there rather than, stealing from Peter to pay Paul. The structured utility rate increases reduces the amounts of long-term loans needed to fund capital projects, which reduces the amount of loan fees, interest, and administrative costs. So now I'm going to go into a cul-de-sac here. Grant funding. So city or the Public Works Department, they do a great job getting us grants. When you go out and ask for grants, there's several things that are in there. Your audit report, audit findings, how much debt you have taken on, what is your revenues. There is a lot that goes into it. It's not, oh, you have a project that we like, we're going to give it. It's a scoring. And where we score on that weighs in tremendously. Again, trying to get those scores increase higher because of a few things that have happened. Okay? Any questions on why do we need to increase rates?
I have a question.
Fire away.
Can you, if we decided to do water, can you not do sewer because it's not sewer, but stormwater? Because we're not as far behind with stormwater as we are with water.
Correct. You can do that. Yep.
Okay.
And
sewer is only what, 3%?
Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah.
So maybe if we
3.6.
didn't increase those two, if we had to increase water. But when you look at grants, they want to make sure that we're putting something into the system too.
Exactly.
I don't want to raise the rates any more than anybody else does, but I'm just saying, when you look for grants, they want, the reason why we did that to start with is because you can't get grants if you're not doing anything to improve the system yourself.
Yep.
So.
And y'all know I'm an accountant, so let's see the next slide of what does this mean if we were to raise rates. So option A, this here increases water and stormwater utility rates to meet the 2025 rates. So you would increase the cost of water by 27.1%. You would increase stormwater 16.87%, and you would increase sewer 3.6%. So the average consumer in the city limits, and when I say consumer, I'm talking about residential. I'm not throwing in the commercial and industrial. I'm just looking purely at the residential of the 2,000 meters we have here. That would be an average increase of about $17 per month. So right now, if you use 5 CCFs, which is roughly 3,700 gallons of water on average, you divide that by 30 days, a little over 110, 125 gallons. If you break that down, what is your average shower is 14 gallons, 14 to 20 gallons. If you have 4 people in your house, that's 80 gallons for your showers, assuming that you're not taking a bath. I mean, again, raising someone's rates is not my first choice, not something I want to do. So I've gone through a lot of this analysis paralysis here. So option A is an increase of $17.12. We are in a workshop here. This is not what is going to be a deciding factor. It's for conversation. The community can speak up, council can speak up. Obviously, it'll be a proposal that I'll have to come forward with a meeting. So 5 CCF is $158 right now, and that would jump up, to 168. I'm sorry, 150, and then it goes to 168. Okay.
So what would it be if we only did water?
Okay, well, hold on a second. So
And
let's
that's
look
only
at
tier 1, right? Like, that's not if anybody in the summer months is in tier 2 or tier 3.
correct.
So it becomes a lot more.
Yes.
Correct. And so here, I'm going to go out there, and somebody's going to disagree with me, and I'm going to give you my 2 bits here. All right. Tier 1, it meets your needs, and that. When you go to tier 2, tier 3, tier 4, those tend to be choices in the sense. I mean, and I'm not picking on your HOV here, Melissa, or your HOA, but again, having to water your lawn, not choosing to water your lawn, those things here are, that there drives into tier 2 and tier 3 and tier 4 for most community residents. And you can see, so if you go back to option A, if you increase the 27%, so tier 3 right now you're paying $5.76 for every 748 gallons of water that you go over tier 2. It would go to $7.32. So it's an extra, $1.50 for every 748 gallons you use. So if I use an extra 3,000 gallons, I'm paying another $10 in that tier 3.
That's with everything or just water?
That is water. So then when I go down to storm water, I'm now at 465 instead of 543. So I'm going to go up when I use there. And then my sewer base stays the same, and my sewer inside goes from 670 to 694.
And I would just like to add that 5 CCF per month is our base average for the city of Woodland. We have a lot of users that use 1 to 2 units per month, and we have some users that use 7 to 8 CCF per month. But our average right there is at 5 CCF. So that's our winter average for new customers is 5.5 CCF for sewer usage. So that is our baseline. So we do have higher users, we have some lower users, but we wanted to really target what is our average user so we can get a base on what they would pay for the difference.
And Miss Dowdy is over here pulling up her water bill and checking out what this is going to mean to her.
27% sounds really high.
So, okay.
So I would just like to add too, though, prior to 2019, the city did have structured 7% increases per year. So with the kind of deficiencies throughout the COVID years and the kind of setbacks for no increases, this is kind of what we're looking at to keep up with our capital improvement project list. Capital improvement projects, like the mayor was kind of describing, we have to have for grant projects, we have to have engineering completed for those projects before we can go for grant. And that's about 30% of total cost for capital improvement projects is for just the engineering that we have to have completed to go forth for grants. So they want project ready projects. So this is covering the cost of those projects so we can then pursue grant opportunities.
So would if we just increase water, would you still have the opportunity?
So that's where the question becomes the capital improvement projects that we want to go after. For we do have a very aging infrastructure for collection systems on
I
our
know we do.
sanitary sewer. Right now we are doing some camera servicing to figure out where those deficiencies lie. We'll have better information next year where we need to target some relining projects. I say sewer is probably in the best state right now. We do have some projects in the mix, but I say for reserves wise, sewer is probably our best sustained. Water, we're looking at a project down SR 503 to replace a 6-inch AC with 12-inch with all the new development. That project, just to give you kind of some idea on cost, that's going to be about $450,000 in just engineering for that project. So we really need to build the reserves. I'd like to also add that we currently, all of our assessment fees for new development, new houses, all those assessment fees are going into reserves. Those go straight into reserves. They do not go into operational budgets, so we are trying to build those as quick as possible with the new developments. So that will help out quite a bit. I would just say that even if we do go with a smaller amount for percentage increase, we will probably be looking at a new FCS group study in 2027 to try to get us better aligned with capital improvement projects and where we are.
Well, sewer was only 3.6%, so
Yes.
maybe do water and sewer and leave off stormwater maybe.
So sewer has only one increase to get to the 2025 rates, so it is the most up to date that we have. I would say that if we were going to defer anything, I would least request that we deferred stormwater. We do have a lot of catch
Right.
basins within the city that do need to be replaced. Those are about $40,000 a piece, and we see about 3 or 4 of those per year that are basically going bad. They no longer infiltrate correctly. So it's a very nominal part of the overall cost, but I would say water and stormwater probably are 2 key players that we need to really look at increasing if we are going to increase any.
Ms. Evan.
I also would like to remind council that we have 2 Department of Health loans currently, one for Reservoir 4 and Filter 2 and 3, and one of the requirements is that the city is required to have a healthy increase on water.
Correct.
That's one of the requirements in order to have the loan. So we're pretty actively in both those loans still because the project's just finished.
That's the $3.5–4 million for Reservoir 4 that requires us to have increases. So.
Yeah.
And we were able to forego those because we were increasing the reserves by collecting past due accounts. And so now we've collected all of our past due accounts, and now it's, hey, what do we want to do? And so that's why I say option A, to increase everything and get us back to where the study was, is on average is going to cost the individual residential home $17 a month.
My feeling is if we have to do it, which I don't like having to do it, is do the water and the sewer and skip the stormwater.
And Riley's recommendation was to keep the stormwater because he needed.
No, I thought he said.
Yes, I would keep the water and the stormwater, and I would defer the sewer.
Oh, is that what you said?
Yes,
Oh,
the sewer
okay,
is
I
the
got
most
it
up to
wrong.
date with
Okay.
only a 3%, 3.6% deficiency over the 2025 rates. I would say that stormwater right now and water is our 2 heavily decreased.
Too
yeah.
important.
Yeah.
Can we see option B?
Yeah. Option B. So option B would be increase water and stormwater rates to meet the 2023 rate structure. So then we would have 2 years of increases left. We wouldn't go all the way to what the study is. And then water would be a 12.24% increase. Stormwater would be 3.9. Sewers 3.6. and then your increase for the average residential customer is $9.84.
Can I opt for an option C of my own? That we keep the water at the 12.24, but do the storm water from option A?
Or just put a sand point and use it for irrigation. I'll save you.
Yeah, that's not happening.
Why? You don't
Use
have to
it.
get a permit.
Use the 12.24 and the 16.87.
Yeah, the storm water's not that much. It's gonna stay the same all year long. The water changes for people throughout town, and I think that that's a lot. And I don't think we should hit them all at once, because they were having a fit over 5.5%. So, in my opinion, I don't think we should jump that high. If we've put it off this long, we shouldn't go extreme, in my opinion.
We can certainly,
Because in some of us, that's gonna be over $100 a month in the summer when it's already really high.
That's what I'm saying. Put in a sand point well and use it for
You
irrigation.
can't do that
Yes,
in
you
our-
can. It's,
so, okay,
you
so
don't even have
I'm
to get a
gonna,
permit.
okay, so you want a scenario that has water at the 12.24, stormwater at the 16.87, and sewer.
I'm okay with the sewer. I mean, well, yeah, because the sewer's not affected in the summer really either. So,
That's correct. We go off your winter average in
right.
the summertime.
So I'm okay with the rest staying the same. The water, I think we need to do the 12 point something.
So option B is workable though. That gets us enough of an increase to be compliant with our loans.
That shows a fair amount of increase so that we can later on use that for leverage for new loans if need be.
I guess I'm not understanding why not go with option B.
Because
knowing
our
we have to-
stormwater does need some maintenance, and I think 3.9% is not enough to help with our maintenance that we need done. That's why I say an option C.
Do you think the 16.7 versus the 3.9 is going to make or break that maintenance?
I would
Or-
say we are very specific on what dry wells we actually look at throughout the year. We have multiple throughout the city that are reaching that 40-year time frame that need to be actually replaced. And like I said, that's about $40,000 per, and we usually schedule about 3 to 4 of those per year. So it kind of comes down to the point of when you see heavy rainfall and you start seeing the streets flooding, that's a reason why, is because we have failing stormwater dry wells. This is all a workshop, so I'm open to options. The next point after this is we're going to bring something back to council for a structured increase for a first vote, and then a final vote on November, I believe, 17th.
Stormwater at 16.87 is an 88-cent increase for the average residential. So
Okay.
16.
Yeah.
So if you did it, what if you did a 1% tax increase? Would you have to raise the rates still, or would that be?
Yeah, 1% 1% property taxes is about $10,000. And you can't use your property taxes to sit here, I mean, totally different funding here, so.
We're not smart.
Totally different batch of money.
Yeah.
So, okay, I mean, when you start looking, I mean, you can, $9.84 to $17, you know, kind of a deal. Okay?
Yeah, the water is the only concern that I think that's a huge hike,
Mhm.
especially for those of us that are required
And
to change it. in
We
the
just
summer.
wanted you to get an idea where we should be in percentage-wise based off the FCS study. This is open to interpretation and where you would like to see the increases. This is just based off of where we should be based off the study in 2025.
One other question. So with the water in option B, that's contingent upon another increase next year. Would it be the same as option B again next year or more? And does option A get us out of that?
So option A would take you to the very end, and we would need to do an FCS study again to understand and to make sure that we have, you know, the right reserves there. Either way, you're gonna have to get to a new FCS study. Having something that's 7 years old by the
Sure.
time you get is a little stale. You've got new homes, new, you know, usage and all of that is totally different. And then when you say, are we gonna get to next year, I think you would still, you're kicking the can,
Sure.
so.
I have a question. Does the trailer park, do they have
Speak into your mic, please.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to make sure that the people that are living in those mobile homes that are having a rough time already, that they're not in a HOA situation where they have to water. Because there's a lot of older people that live there, and they're on a fixed income and they just cannot afford it. So, but they don't have to water their lawn, so I'm okay with that.
But if you want to water your lawn, you can put a sandpoint well and use it for irrigation. I don't know why people.
Do you want to touch on that, Riley?
Yeah, I would say that we don't condone putting in sand spikes, just because we are the city and there's a water rights factor to that. But I would say if you do put one in, you will be required to put in a reduced pressure backflow device, which is about $2,500, and have that tested once a year.
Because it doesn't even require, it's exempt from a permit if it's under half an acre in size of your property. So you don't have to do anything with the ecology. I mean,
That is correct. If you're withdrawing less than 5,000 gallons per day, you do not have to have approval from ecology.
And if it's under half an acre in size, so if you're on a city lot.
So,
my dad did it for years. It works great.
but you have to have a reduced pressure backflow device in a heated box out in front of your house to protect the city water system.
Well, you're not hooked up to the city water system, though.
Then you can't have it within inside city limits.
Okay, we're going to take this offline. I mean, this here is
Oh, I know.
outside.
It's just, am I not allowed to talk about anything?
No, but we're going down a rabbit hole here.
Just trying to save people money.
And again, people are more than welcome to reach out to you,
Sure.
have a conversation with you, have a conversation with Riley. But again, this is about water rates and not,
Yeah.
so, yep. Okay, any questions, comments further about that and the conversation we'll be having coming back? All right, last item that we have here in workshop is the admin salary schedule for 2026. So again, going through the salaries, do you have that, Amanda? So, she has taken off some of these, and so as you go through and what we've done, we've just a few positions and things that we have eliminated here as we talk about what our admin salaries are. We've eliminated city administrator, we've eliminated a clerk treasurer, we've eliminated a deputy clerk treasurer, we've eliminated a building official, and we've eliminated an associate planner. And we've eliminated a lieutenant position. So out of all the administrative positions that we've had over up until 2024, we've now eliminated over half of those, and we're left with a public works director, a police chief, a city clerk, a city treasurer, and a community development planner. The four of these individuals here to my right, and Terry, who is back east visiting her elderly mother that's sick. So this here is the recommendation that will be coming with the budget. So step increases are built in as part of their contracts, but then cost of living COLA will start at the top and go through. But cost of living for the union contracts is 3.25% this year. So my recommendation is with the administrative staff, they would be that same 3.25%. We're all together in this piece. So Public Works Director currently is step 7, and he would move to a step 8 position, 1 year of further increase or of experience, I'm sorry. The police chief as well. Those two market analysis that we did last year, and we continue to look at those and review versus the I-5 corridor up and down around us are in line. So those would be moved to step 8. Moving down, the city clerk position would be a step 7 currently, and would move to a step 8. And then a city treasurer who we hired in June of this year is currently step 5, and we would move her to a step 6. So there's no out of line jumps and step increases with that, very much just 1 and 1, and recommendation of a cost of living factor of 3.25%. Okay? Any questions from council or anyone on that?
So you left the lieutenant position as vacant and didn't remove it completely. Is that something that at some point we may revisit?
So the chief and I've had some good conversation going back and forth. He would like to bring back a lieutenant, some type of non-guild level position to assist and to help him as the city continues to grow. And looking at the police budget, things that we've done there and the things that we need to do with the guild, when you add that position in there, he'd be looking at close to a $600,000 to $700,000 increase year over year on his budget. I told him, thank you, but no thank you. Let's rethink this here. I appreciate the fact of having somebody to assist him and to help him. Right now, if he goes on vacation, the sergeants need to step in, and there are some of those things that take place. I think the guild does a wonderful job. The individuals of 17 people over there. It's the dialogue. $700,000 is very difficult because we need to live within our means and stay where our current budget is. And so finding those dollars is not something that we really have been able to find. Sharpening the pencils we will come back with. So that's why it says vacant, but we have not had it in the budget last year for 2024 or 2025. Okay. Does that answer your question, Ms. Dowd?
Yes.
Anything you wanted to throw in that, Chief? Okay. When we talk about the increase in the budget, remember we've got body cameras with Axon, we've got car dash cameras with Axon. We've done a lot of those types of things. We've added a couple different police officers there. We've got a school resource officer. Just as a reminder to everyone here, that school resource officer sits over at the high school and the middle school and the elementary school and rotates there. But that position is 100% funded and paid for out of the city of Woodland. Those dollars, which is very rare to see that funded. It usually at a minimum is a 50-50, but right now it's 100% by the city. Okay? Ms. Smith.
Okay, I just wanted.
Come on up.
Oh, gosh. I signed waved all day. Okay, Maggie Smith, Woodland. When you said, 100% by the city of Woodland, can it, is that, that's not normal, right? So
Correct.
would
It's
you
rare.
would you do like 50-50
So
next year? Or?
again, I'm not in the position or in the mindset to ever get rid of that school resource officer. I think it is very justified in our community. I think it's a great thing. He's done terrific and has already earned every dollar he earns.
Okay.
When you throw his salary in, when you throw in a vehicle, you throw all those costs in, you're well over a couple $100,000 for one individual there. I would love to see the school district step up and say, you know what, we think it's just as important as the city. We will pay for half of it. Again, I'm not in the position to tell them how to spend their money or not spend their money. They weren't willing to step up. We stepped up as a community, and city council said yes.
Thank you.
I think,
Well, and I think when we were voting on it too, we wanted full control of the position, and we didn't want them telling us how that position needed to operate, and that was one of the reasons that we voted to keep it this way and not approach it as a split it 50-50 too.
They would still be a guild member and report to the chief.
I was just going to say, I think it's a very important position in the community. It gets the kids very familiar with the police officers and lets them know that they are around, you know. And so I think it's a very important item.
Yep. So, good question, Ms. Smith. Any other questions or comments on this piece here, or recommendations from council regarding salaries and that? This was not a shock to the four of them. They knew that this was coming today, and that it would be in line with the other unions. Okay. With that, any other comments or questions before we leave workshop?
Well, I have a question from last meeting. It's not for workshop though. It's
Okay.
No.
Nope. Okay, the time is now 8:30 and we are exiting workshop and back into our meeting.
Yeah, and my question, just a quick one. Have we made progress on the request for the Little League meter? Or have we done anything with that?
That's currently open for discussion still between internal city staff and legal counsel. We've had a lot of people reach out from the community wanting to pay for that meter service connection, and we're trying to distinguish what those costs actually are when we break it down to the actual hard cost of what the city can defer and what community members who want to pay for that service connection can pay for. So
It's the gifting of funds piece is
yeah.
that we're at.
Yeah, and I understand that, and I appreciate just knowing that it's moving ahead.
Yes, it is moving ahead. We've had a lot of community members interested in helping out, and so we're hoping to have that wrapped up here very shortly and getting them connected. So.
Motion to end meeting?
Second.
The time is now 8:31. Have a good evening. Thank you, everyone.
The mayor is lost. They did.